next speaker, Christopher Clarke. Christopher is not only an accomplished PhD candidate at the University of Michigan, but also a lecturer in computer science at. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to our next speaker, Christopher Clarke. Christopher is not only an accomplished PhD candidate at the University of Michigan, but also a lecturer in computer science at the University of Guyana. With a master's degree from the University of Michigan and a bachelor's degree from the University of Guyana, Christopher is highly accomplished in his field. His research focuses on enhancing the capabilities of AI, particularly in NLP and human AI interaction, and he has published numerous research papers at.
I'll just go straight
Ladies
in. You
and
can
gentlemen,
bring about the
please give a
slides.
warm welcome to our next
Along the way,
speaker,
you'll kind of
Christopher
get the
Clarke.
sense. I'll just say,
Christopher
as
is
Alan would
not
have
only
mentioned
an
before,
accomplished PhD
research and
candidate
development
at the
is
University
kind
of
of my
Michigan.
focus. So I'm a PhD student at the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, working with Professor Jason Morris, who you'll also hear from today. And what I want to kind of introduce to you, as Alan was mentioning before, right, is AI sustainability, right? Alan would have given you kind of a preview into some of the amazing technological achievements that we've been doing here, right here in Guyana, by some of our own local talent. And what I want to just convey to you very quickly today is how we can continue to maximize this. So we have this interesting question. How can we maximize AI innovation in the region? And what I wanted to convey to you is that we can continue to do this within this region by focusing on three main pillars. The first is AI industry. The second is AI academia, to which I'm very well intertwined with, and some of my colleagues here will speak about, and AI government. Every single one of you inside of here fall into one of these three categories. You're either a business leader working within industry, trying to figure out how can you transform your business. We'll explain very quickly how you can use the True Self platform to be able to, streamline a lot of that. AI academia, very much before, a lot of this was being done by people with several PhDs. And what we were going to really kind of just quickly dive into is to how we can continue to not only consume AI technology for our own growth, but actually continue to develop, whereby even the well-developed countries can use Guyana's technology going forward. And AI governance, right? There's a lot of talk about how we can actually form policy around AI. And what I want to carry you quickly through is just some of the legislative things that you can really start to think about. So let's start with the AI industry. So first thing I want to say is that industry practitioners need to be at the forefront. Now, in the AI industry, what we're starting to see is before, in 2014, a lot of the AI innovations would be coming out of places like Stanford, MIT, right, the top universities in the world. But we've had this interesting shift since the year 2014. Industry has storm-headed away, right? AI innovations are coming from the actual practitioners who are focusing on how we can actually get this into the hand of the customers. And the reason for that is that the business leaders, you have access to the data, you have access to the resources, you have access to the users who are the actual ones that this AI is actually going to enable, right? So what we're seeing is a shift whereby AI enablement needs to come from actual business leaders. It is past the infancy stages of where it's inside of a research lab, but we need to actually carry it now whereby business leaders are actually contributing to it. We're even seeing this from the academia realm. Before, when people would come into the AI field, they would usually think you're going to become a professor afterwards, or you're going to become, going to go join Intel, IBM, these labs. Instead, what we're seeing now is that actual academics, such as myself and some of you might be in this room, right? In fact, since 2021, most of the PhDs are now actually saying, how can we actually go and create our own companies using this technology, as well as how can we help to improve business processes. So in order for us to continue to achieve and maximize this AI within the region, you, the business leaders here within this room, need to be at the forefront of this technology. Now, why should you do that, right? Now, every time, as a business, you want to make certain strategic decisions in order to improve the certain sectors of your company, right? And when you're trying to make the decision of, okay, should I enable it? Should I spend a bunch of money on this? What is it going to give me? Right now, through the companies that we've already been working with and what we've seen globally in the working world is that AI has already begun to revolutionize business growth. In fact, a study done by Deloitte in 2022 shows that over 37% of businesses that would have started AI within just the year 2022 would have been able to lower costs significantly. We're seeing extreme improvements by introducing AI enablement into the region. From being able to lower cost, discover valuable insights, in transform supply chain management, and so forth. Now, often when we think of AI, we leave it to just, okay, the US, the UK, the large nations to be able to focus on this advancement, right? But now, with the entry of AI being much lower than it was before, and with platforms such as TrueSub that we're building, it's now time for the Caribbean region to enter the market, and we want Guyana to be at the forefront. When we look at the newly funded AI companies throughout the world, right? When you look at this graphic here, what you'll see is that United States, China, and UK are leading the charge. Since 2013, they have accounted for a mass majority of the AI companies that have been formed in the world, right? But if in this year alone, 10 of us within this room would have started an AI company right here in Guyana, Guyana would have been in the top 20 of the countries in the world in AI technology. We have TrueSelf, we want to bring more. And now is the time, through the partnership with TrueSelf, for Caribbean companies such as yours to enter that AI market. So how can TrueSelf help maximize AI industry? As Alvin would have mentioned before, with the opportunity for creation and industry development, two of our main objectives, AI product innovation and AI enablement. As we were saying before, we're trying to get a large number of companies to come on board. Come, work with us, let us understand your business needs, and we can allow you to take that, bootstrap it, and introduce a lot of AI enablement through that. Let's briefly talk about AI in academia, right? So when we speak about academia, we're talking about research, right? How can we take the field forward? How can we teach our children about this field, right? What in the academia realm do we need to account for? Now, academia must not only continue to pursue innovation, but it must adopt it, right? Now, what do I mean by that? So what we're starting to see now is that as these AI models continue to get smarter and smarter, they're starting to lead to even more scientific and innovative processes. Now, researchers themselves are now using the same models that they would have built to be able to do vastly greater things. So, for instance, scientific profits were able to be done in areas such as, major manipulation and able to generate antibodies, as we were speaking before, areas such as healthcare and so forth. We're able to see a lot of rapid stuff. And this is now where academics need to now come to the forefront and also utilize this technology. It's still in its infancy years, right? If you look back at the lineage of AI, right, we had this period through in the early 2000s where it wasn't such a hot field. Nobody was really doing this type of work. In fact, there were only just a handful of universities that were actually dedicated to AI research, right? But now, because of the advancements in generative AI, right, we now have this interesting opportunity for us to be able to bootstrap AI innovation right here in Guyana through the university and through partnerships with TrueSelf. Right? We still have a lot of gaps when it comes to the AI research that is out there. The first being is that while these models are very capable, right? As you'll kind of see as you start to interact with a lot of the technology that we'll display here today, there's still a lot more room for growth. And what we're trying to do with the TrueSelf platform is try to motivate young innovators such as yourself to come on, understand this AI technology, and then wield it yourself, whereby you can also help to contribute to the research progress of AI. right? Because we still have many more things to do. For instance, these large language models still struggle with complex reasoning tasks. We can do a lot of the interactions that we'll be able to display today, but there's still so much more that can be done, and academia needs to be at the forefront of that. Right? Additionally, what we're seeing is that AI research is on a huge rise. Before, back in 2010, right, there's been about a few universities that were doing AI research. That has now doubled by today. Today, conferences all around the world are now seeing more and more academics starting to pour into the AI research realm. And what we want to do is to allow academics right here in Guyana to now start to contribute to that through our partnership. Good. Next point I want to quickly convey is that AI upskilling is necessary across all levels, not just at the tertiary institutions, but also down at the primary institutions, middle school, and high school. What we're seeing is that more and more AI specialization is happening, right? People are pouring into the field inside of the developed world, and we need to follow the same right here in Guyana, right? So the academics, right, such as university and such, should be pouring more and more into us developing programs, us developing curriculum to enable AI development, so that our talent right here can not only consume that technology, but create it themselves. In fact, a study recently this year was looking at, okay, how much governments have been actually looking out there to implementing AI technology within their curriculum. And so far, only 4 countries have now implemented AI technology, but have actually employed it within their curriculum, right? And what I want, and what we want as True South, is for 2024 for Guyana to also be on this list. So countries such as China, Kuwait, Portugal are taking the mantle firsthand. They're saying AI is a very interesting field. We need it here within our country, and they're introducing AI curriculum starting from levels as low as pre-K. Right? Guyana needs to follow suit. So, how can True South advance the state of AI in academia in Guyana? As Ellen would have mentioned, through AI upskilling and AI research and development, right? What we were presenting to you earlier was a very innovative tech stack that we've been able to bootstrap a lot of amazing products that you'll get to see later today, right? But a lot of the models that are on the lower side of that still need a lot of improvement. And through this AI upskilling, what we're building is more and more engineers that are able to contribute from a research standpoint and a development standpoint to the improvement of these models over time. Lastly, let's talk about AI and government. So AI, as we've seen, is generating a lot of interest, right? And there's a lot of fear around what are its implications? What can it do? What can it not do? How should we design legislation around this enablement? What regulators and policymakers need to do is that we need to establish what our balance is, right? We want to be able to introduce legislation that protects the nation, but also drives innovation. We want innovation such as you're going to see here with True South to continue to lead the way, but also in such a way, as you were saying before, that we can provide this technology in a way that people can use it, feel safe using it, feel empowered using it. Right? And we're starting to see this in the developed world happen rapidly. Policymakers are rushing now trying to design new AI legislation, right, in order to protect the citizens. Guyana needs to follow suit. In fact, if you look at the number of AI-related bills passed across the world globally, right, still we see that a lot of the Caribbean region still falls behind. We have not been able to come yet, right, and introduce actual AI legislation that can, protect our citizens and drive innovation. Guyana needs to follow suit and start taking the mantle on. Lastly, what I want to close on is industry, all these 3 pillars that I would have spoken about before, we need to work collectively. It cannot happen just from one. If you let the business practitioners just run away with AI, They might just focus solely on profit, solely on innovation, and drive it straight forward. If you let just the academics lead it, honestly, we'll keep it in a research lab and it'll never reach nobody, and nobody will get the benefit, right? And if you just let legislation just lead the way, it may never reach anybody because they'll just lock it down and be scared of what it may do to people, right? So what we're trying to do with this conference and a lot of our innovations that we're trying to do today is create that space whereby all of you can come together, understand AI more, right? And then actually come together so that we can craft policies that can be in place to drive innovation and also protect our progress. Because fear and ignorance will only stifle progress. So, how does True Self advance the state of AI academia and governments in Guyana? Well, this is it. Welcome to the AI-4D conference, and you're a part of the solution. Go around today, meet people, understand their needs, interact with the technology, and let's come together to make a better Guyana. Thank you.